Good morning, and how are you today? Today is November the 7th, a day that a lot of people have waited a long time for. It's voting day. Make sure to cast your ballot. Polls will be opening up in exactly 30 minutes from now, no matter what county you're from. Across this great nation, places it's time to vote. Make sure to cast your ballot. It's one vote, but it does count. Make sure to use it. Use it wisely. Study it up and go cast your ballot today because, well, it affects your taxes and everything about your life. It does. And voting is very important there. We're waking up with 48 degrees right now. It'll warm up. We're getting to 83 today for a high, but get ready. We actually have rain in the forecast, still holding steady at 60% moving in on Thursday night. Should continue during the daytime on Friday with a 70% chance and leading into the nighttime hours before ending before midnight around 60% chance. Now, again, let me warn you, this is Mississippi and the deep south, and things change at the drop of a hat. But we've had it 2 days in a row still holding steady at that. We're 2 days out. It could change as always, but thank heavens, a little rain in the forecast. We need it. From deer patches to everything. Everything's just dry. Burn bans. We know all that is. Let's go into, we're going to have to do this, I think, on the fly. I think we're going to have to adjust this when I hit the button to put today's show in. I don't think I changed it. So we'll be joining First Baptist Church here.
Now that we're nearly a week past the Halloween season, we're now running full.
It's easy for me to get distracted. Is it for you? Do you ever work on one task, you start making some headway, and then bam, you think of something else you have to do? Well, and then you get to work on that. And then after you get rolling on that, bam, another box to check, and you get to work on that. That's pretty prevalent for me. To be efficient, we really need to focus on that one task, get it done, one thing at a time, and then move on to the next one, right? You know, in our walk with Jesus, it's really easy to do the same, especially when it comes to other people. It's very easy just to get caught up in what they're doing instead of looking at our own life. Now, let's be clear. The Bible calls something sin, we must call that sin. And then some people, you know, you've heard them say, only God can judge me. And hey, they're correct. But if the Bible calls it sin, there's nothing wrong with us doing the same. But in matters of personal conviction, we must be careful not to overstate where the Bible does not. Yesterday, Pastor Ben did a great job of illustrating what Christian liberty is. He used the examples of holidays, and I'll kind of focus on one too. Halloween, right? Some say you can't celebrate it at all because there are components that celebrate the occult. Others say, go all in, use it as a means to share the gospel. In this case, hey, I fully understand if you choose to abstain. I mean, I get a little creeped out by how some people dress too. For me, though, my conviction is to use it as a fun time in gospel witness. See, just this past week, our church had tons of people come through it for our fall festival. It was a great opportunity to share the gospel and get people connected. At the end of the day, we must not let personal convictions cause us to fall into hatred or judgment of those who may be convicted differently than us on things that aren't explicitly stated in the Bible. Let's be gracious because Romans 14 tells us we'll all give our own account to God one day. So think about you and your convictions. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, Mouty Cabinetry, and Parker Marketing Insurance Advisors. And welcome back. I hope your day is starting out well for you as we start this Tuesday. Again, voting day. If you're just tuning in, make sure to cast that ballot as we get going. Right now, 48, a little nippy outside as we get it going. Greg Chatham will be back in this morning to help us out. And we'll also have a few special guests this morning drop by as we make our last bid for you to choose who's going to be elected today. How are you there? See, Debbie is up. Good to see you from Crescent Lake area. Mike Dallas up in Stir and Robin Miller. Good morning to all you. Bree, good to see you there. As we start looking at a few headlines that are shaping America today, I often wonder what goes through people's minds of how they think they can get away with it. Maybe you have a disagreement with a family member, somebody in the family you just don't like. Well, a Florida dentist is finding out he chose the wrong way. What did he do? He hired a hitman to take out his brother-in-law after a custody battle within the family. $300,000. Well, he came up with $138,000 and paid that, and then he would have to go on a retainer for $3,000 a month. That's so they wouldn't take him out because he didn't have the full amount. In the end, he was arrested and convicted of trying to kill his brother-in-law. Boy, 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 the web that people do. And I've never watched all of this as we turn our thoughts to, and it made such headlines. Tiger King, do y'all remember that? That TV show, that documentary that was so big during the pandemic? Well, we've got somebody else that was on the show. It just seems that there's a lot of people going to jail from that show. Do y'all remember somebody named Doc? Well, NBC reporting this morning that Doc has pled guilty to trafficking wildlife and money laundering. Sold some exotic animals that he shouldn't, tried to hide the money. He has been busted. He'll also go to jail. One thing leads to another with that, doesn't it? We're getting ready for the next GOP debate. 5 of them have qualified for it. Does it matter? Absolutely not. Not near a single one of them will get the GOP nomination. Again, at best, what they're trying to do is keep their name out there. They pretty much know after this year that Trump will be out of it. Whether he wins or loses, whatever happens, he'll be out of the picture. They want their name in your head for when it comes up the next time. They don't stand a chance. Y'all know that as well as I do. In comparison, they're weak. Another way to word it, not that I can think of. Now, it concerns me. Maybe you've watched the headlines and you pay attention to what I say each day. I'm trying to get my throat cleared there. As we look at the situation as Israel, I sometimes worry about the next generation that doesn't fully understand what Israel has been through or what they're going through now. As voter groups are warning Biden that if he doesn't change his stance on Gaza, they won't vote for him next time. At the end of the day, they probably weren't going to vote for you anyway. Stand your ground. If something is worth standing up for, you'll take the heat. I've done it once or twice in my life. It's not fun. It's not great. But being right isn't always the hip answer, is it? It's not. This is one of those things, stand with Israel. We'll see where this goes as they threaten not to vote for him. And it even gets worse as I mentioned, the next generation. A Jewish man was killed during an Israel-Palestinian rally in California. Took a man's life for what? At a rally on top of that. It does worry me about the future, what people are thinking. They want to protest everything, but then they're willing to kill. Has to be consequences for what you do in life. Republicans are threatening to reject the Ukraine aid unless Democrats agree to tighten U.S. immigration laws. Don't think it'll ever happen, do you? I'm afraid the borders are gone. It would take a strong individual being president to straighten this out. I'm not sure we have that right now. Now, as I often look back on this, I've heard people say, well, nothing could happen to me. Believe me, be on this. If you have a former president that the USA government will go after, you're absolutely nothing. We all know that. I never thought that a president would be gone after by the government, but they are uncovering things. And here's the headline this morning. Department of Homeland Security officials created a disinformation group at Stanford University to help censor America's speech on social media ahead of the 2020 election. That's fact. It happened. Now, imagine if that was done. What is it that you don't know? It does make you scratch your head and wonder what could have happened. I'll leave it at that. I have no proof of either of these, but I do know that if they'll go after a president, open doors on January the 6th, and then arrest people later, makes you think. All I can say about it. Have you heard of the company WeWork? It was a company that bought buildings, and they rented office space for small businesses where they could come in and have an office, and like if they had a client, they could meet them there. 500, 600, sometimes more than that, for a little office space of their own to call their office. They filed for bankruptcy. Why? The pandemic. No one goes to the office anymore. It doesn't seem to matter. They're going under. Somewhere around $50 billion in debt. That's a lot of cash, isn't it? That looks to be the latest that has fallen way to, I things that happen. A lot of controversy in New York, as we know that somebody within the Eric Adams campaign has had the FBI poking around what's going on. KSK Construction is at the center of it. His campaign finance probe received millions from a Turkey government. They seized a bunch of stuff last week. Is Eric Adams got something to hide? I don't know that. A lot going on there, though. We'll watch this story carefully as things start to unravel in New York, and more come out about this. We got a lot to talk about today as we get ready for the election, which begins. We'll go over who, what, and how, and we'll have results live tonight, giving you the latest that we have as it comes available as you cast your vote in Decision 2023. It's all on the way. We'll check your forecast, get deeper into all of this here in just a few moments at the Scotty Ray Report.
Need an expert to repair a rock peck or cracked windshield? Call Advanced Auto Glass by Joey for quality workmanship and customer service. Convenient same-day service, as well as in-house calibration for vehicle safety systems. Reliable mobile service is available in Clark, Kemper, Neshoba, Lauderdale, and Newton counties for all cars, trucks, and heavy equipment. Book your appointment today for custom tinting. It can reduce temps, fading, glare, and more. Improve the safety and enhance the appearance of your vehicle today with services from Advanced Auto Glass by Joey.
The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built in, or conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
And welcome back. Let's get into our forecast now as we approach that 7 o'clock hour, a gorgeous day ahead of us.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
And as always, a big thank you to EMEPA, who has been a sponsor with us since day one. We do appreciate them. As we look back on the record high, it was 2022, 1 year ago today, that it was 88. We're coming close to that, with a high of 83 today compared to that 5 degrees difference. As we look to the record low, it was 1959 that we had that record low of 26 degrees and 59. I almost said it backwards, didn't I? A cold day it was. As we look across the land today, 84 at most for today in the Meridian area, 83 as we go through Philadelphia. As we get up to Columbus Air Force Base, 83 back over to the Mississippi River and through the Delta. It looks to be about the same statewide, anywhere from 83 to 84. Not much change in it. As we go east into Bama, Tuscaloosa sitting at 83, and Demopolis 82 as well. Even over at Montgomery, as we visit Hanks Grave, we're looking at 83 in that area as well. Now, as we look at this, wildfire conditions have not changed. Do not burn. We're hoping that this little bit of rain will help out with this to dampen things. But precautions all the way through Wednesday as we look at this. Burning is discouraged. Most of the state still under a burn ban. As we look at this now, we should see fog to the south of Meridian. If you've got to go anywhere south of Clark County this morning, be cautious. And even though that there's not a limited threat in the East Mississippi side of here through Philadelphia, always remember these low-lying areas when it's south of here can pop up. We want you to be able to see where you're going. Half a mile, quarter mile visibility due south of us from McGee to Laurel, Hattiesburg, headed toward the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So be careful in those areas through about 10 o'clock this morning. Now, as we look at this trend of what we've got, something normal coming. South Texas has a little bit below average normal weather across Texas, and we'll see that eventually make its way to Mississippi and Alabama, Louisiana, and those areas there as we'll get into the 70s and kind of taper off and get away from this 80-degree weather. What we have, though, through Thursday is 80-degree weather, 83 today, 82 tomorrow, and by Thursday, 80. Now, Thursday night, you will start seeing rain chances increase to a 60% pretty much all day through Friday and ending by midnight Friday night with a 60% chance even at that point during the evening hours, but a 70% during the daytime. By Saturday, we're shaking it off with sunshine. There's going to be a lot of events that happen as Veterans Day rolls in on Saturday. But cooler, look at that, 67 for a high. You may want to bring a jacket to the parade. We'll get down to 68 for a high on Sunday and back to work on Monday with a high of 66. So cooler weather in store. As we look for another week out on this all the way through the 21st, getting close to Thanksgiving, we're still hovering anywhere from 67 to 75. Not horrible weather, perfect. Our biggest chance of rain there, and we do have several chances there. Look at that. Coming into the forecast with 30 and 40%, all the way up to a 55% again by the 19th. So again, maybe this dry spell that we're getting is going to make a change before long. That's what's happening there. As we look to today's fishing forecast, here we go. Tuesday, as you get out to vote, looks like your best time to fish is going to be, well, right after lunch. Be there by 12:30 because fishing will start getting good around 1 o'clock through around 3 this afternoon. And that's rough estimates, but give 10 or 15 minutes there. The wind's going to be light, southwest wind increasing 5 to 10 this morning. So that's what you've got in store with the wind there when it comes to fishing. Now, when it comes to the hunting forecast, you're going to want to be there by 12. It looks to be starting to get good there at 12:30. So you'll want to be in the woods by 12. And this should be good to about 1:30 today. That's your best time to hunt today. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting till after dark and it might not turn out quite so well. Deer season. Youth season was last weekend. We got another weekend coming up with it. Take a kid hunting. It's what keeps the tradition. It's fun and it's clean fun. Hope you'll enjoy yourself. Get out and do that. Hadn't been in about 4 years now. Plan on getting there one day. I enjoy it, though. It sure is. Me and Greg talked about that yesterday. We're looking now at 6:45 as we begin our morning. How do y'all feel? I do hope good. Beth, how are you? I see you up and Adam. Karina, good to see you. Miss Donna. We'll be back in about 10 minutes as we'll fire off the morning show. Chief Deputy Wart Calhoun is coming in. Also, he'll be asking for your vote. That's going to be happening today as he wants to take over as being sheriff of Lauderdale County. A lot went on last night also. The sheriff's department, Ward's got to be running on about a couple hours of sleep at best. All that's happening there. We'll tell you what he did along with the deputies as they brought somebody into custody last night. We got all that coming up at 7. Join us, won't you? The Scotty Ray Report with Greg.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.